Welcome to Alicante, welcome to the arrivals. Leg 2 is about to be concluded, 7,000 miles now done, and MAPFRE, the Spanish team, are going to be the first boat to cross the line. Joining me as always is Conrad Coleman, and I mean, we're a little bit stretched out here. The Spanish team are in first, but they've got a little bit of space. It doesn't quite reflect what an amazing leg this has been.
It has been incredibly tight. You know, it's been totally dominated by the boat that is now in second place. And if you think about all of the thousands of decisions that has happened over the course of this leg, one of them lost them the lead. So anyway, today is all about MAPFRE. They've been the fastest boat for a long part of this leg, and they've absolutely deserved to be in the lead here. Exactly. You know, they've got 3 miles to go. They've got plenty of pressure, and now is just the time to sit back and enjoy this moment. Well, maybe not sit back, because they've still got to have a pretty quick hand on the Traveller as those gusts come in. But no, they're really not in danger at all. And for even Volvo Ocean Race rookies on board, like Tamara, like Blair Took, they're going to be saying, well, you know, if it was this easy all along, you know, I don't see what all the fuss was about.
The whole crew is up on deck, ready to celebrate, ready to feel the relief from all these days and thousands of miles of hard work coming to fruition here, leading the fleet incredibly strongly. And something that we talk about so much with this new era of the Volvo Ocean Race in one design is how close the racing is. And I'm surprised at the distances we're seeing here on the last day.
Well, remember, these boats were basically overlapped just a few days ago, and they've been able to stretch out, you know, break free of the 2 boats that were chasing them down. And then Juan and Xabi managed to position the boat in slightly better conditions, which accumulated into a little bit of a lead, which put them again in slightly different wind, and they just ran away from it. But remember now, if we look at the back of the fleet, those 3 boats at the back, Team AzkoNobel, Scallywag, and Turn the Tide on Plastic, are still overlapped. So, you know, this is the era of the one design racing, and I can tell you that as a result of that, these guys are going to be so happy to get this extra bonus point, because that's going to allow them to not only take the lead, but stretch out a little bit. You can see the buoys there. It looks like that's going to be the finish line that's coming up. So they really are in the final straight. I think Usain Bolt could do the distance that remains in about 10 seconds, but it's probably going to take them just a little bit longer.
Well, they've got a lot of spectators out on the water, watching them, following them in, cheering them home. And I'm seeing quite a few ribs and vessels down there with some crews dressed in red, and that gives me the impression that these are MAPFRE fans coming out to welcome the leading boat in. And there they go, across the finish line. Celebrations on board. So many of these sailors that we're seeing on board here, sailors like Blair Took, it's the first time really that they've been out here, offshore. This is a new adventure for them. And what an adventure it is. What a way to finish the big testing leg. Leg 2, 7,000 miles down south to Cape Town from Lisbon. And MAPFRE, true to form, dominated this race. And when it came down to those last final maneuvers, they were there to take full advantage. Xabi is on the line. Xabi, it's Niall in Volvo Ocean Race headquarters. We're just seeing you guys coming across the finish line, and congratulations for a fantastic victory. An amazing moment for you guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's amazing for us, really. Super happy, and you know, we came here in one piece and in front of the other, so not much else we can ask.
I mean, when you say in front of the others, you have an incredibly impressive lead for what has been an amazingly tight race.
Yeah, it's been what I think what we will see the whole way around the world is super tight racing. Everyone's speed is up there and very even, and small mistakes are very expensive. So this time we were lucky to do the least mistakes of the fleet, and that's why we won. And and as you say, like the last 2-3 days been very good for the boat in front, and we could stretch for almost 50 miles. So very happy with it.
And this is a special moment for Spain that's really taken the Volvo Ocean Race to its heart. Now it has a boat in the race performing right at the front of the fleet. That must make you proud.
Yeah, of course, very proud of the whole team, and it's been a long way. It is the 5th Volvo we do in a row as a team, and we have started this race very well as well, and hopefully this time we can do things better. But we know very well how hard it is, how long it is, and how many problems we will have in the future. So we have to, go step by step, and of course enjoy the good moments like this one.
Now, whenever we spoke to you during the leg, you would always be very shy about saying whether you could win into Cape Town. Now you can be honest with me. When did you think you were going to get first place at this finish line?
Well, not that long ago, to be honest, because with the front, the guys catch us so much. The guys like Dongfeng, they were almost 70 miles behind and came up to 18 or 18 and a half. So, in these moments, you're always nervous, never happy enough. But once we crossed it and we jived and we were just facing towards here, Cape Town 2 days ago, I think that's where we knew that if nothing wrong was going on, we should be good to win here. So it's been pretty tight the whole race.
The 2017 RC44 Championship is getting close to its end. Despite the friendly atmosphere ashore, all the teams are eager to win. Afloat, the battle is getting even fiercer. As a result, the on-the-water umpires must be on their toes to ensure the racing remains as fair as possible.
The rule of the jury in the RC44, I think, is different from the standard duty in other classes, because we try to do as much as possible all the decision on the water.
The fleet has sometimes small problems on the water. They break some rules, but they respect each other. There are no breakdowns between boats, no collisions. They really are friends.
I think all of them are quite good separating the racing to the rest.
And when we give the penalties, they get upset sometimes, but on the water for a moment, and then we have a good discussion afterwards, and as long as the rules are clear, they enjoy the experience, and so do we.
While on day one there was no standout team, today Peninsula Petroleum had the bit between her teeth, winning both races. This was despite sailing with different helms, Alfredo Morales in the first race standing in for owner John Bassadoni, who arrived just in time for the second. The Gibraltar team now leads the RC44 Calero Marinas Cup overall. Vladimir Prosikin's team Lika climbed one place to second at the end of day two, while Chris Bake's team MAPFRE is third.
Big waves with not that much wind, so obviously it's tough to make sure you keep the boat going, and yeah, it's just a lot tougher. But you know, with good feedback from Vasco and from Oli on the main, and you know, helping me along, which is good.
We have a quite clear idea what we want to do during today, and not always happen like that. And I think that the owners today did an amazing job driving the boat very, very nicely, and it's easy for me to call tactics with this kind of approach on the boat.
With the stakes getting ever higher, the action continues tomorrow for the penultimate racing day of the regatta and the season.
Today's probably the most important day of racing. We're battling for the top 10. You have to be in the top 10 to continue racing tomorrow.
The level in the top 10 is really high.
I have to race clean, make no mistakes and have a bit of luck.
Everybody's super motivated also, so it will be for sure a super hard battle on the water.
Any mistakes or anything, you're really getting punished.
You fail one race, you're out of top 10.
Go fast or go home.
The fight is on.
The start is very crucial because all the riders push on the line.
The fight with Elena is really close for the second place. I'm gonna fight really hard.
Finally made it to the top 10, yee!
I made it to the top 10.
Medal racing tomorrow is going to decide the winner.
It's all on for medal racing.
Well, we are just a few meters away from the finish line. That gives you some idea as to where the finish are as we look at the virtual eye. These are the live shots from our chase rib out there, and we are expecting Dongfeng race team to cross the finish line and claim second place in leg 2 in just a few moments. Charles Cordrelia, Pascal Badigary, all the crew on board have been doing an absolutely fantastic job. And down on the water right now, we've got Neil Cox in the chase rib. Neil, a big moment for Dongfeng race team.
Yeah, no, they're actually doing very nicely here. They've been probably sailed tighter angles to the finish line than the luxury that MAPFRE had to get here, but I think pretty good pressure right through to the finish line.
Neil, I mean, they sailed that longer route north. I guess they were trying to stay in the breeze, but actually they've had a bit of a battle to get into the finish. We're going to come back to Neil in just a moment. These are the images coming on board, and they have gone through the finish line. Dongfeng race team cross the finish, bear away to start bringing the sails down, all the crew up on deck. No chance for celebrations right now because finally the breeze is with them to bring them home. Second place for Dongfeng race team on leg 2.
Here we are. Here we are.
Yeah, go. Charles Cordrelia, skipper of Dongfeng race team, welcome to Cape Town and congratulations. Second place on the podium on this leg.
Yes, good second place. For sure, at one moment we were hoping better, but few days ago we were in a very bad position, fourth, and we made a fantastic comeback. So well done to MAPFRE. They did less mistakes than us. We did a big one and we lost the first place, but it was an amazing comeback.
A fantastic comeback indeed, and a lot of fans still wondering exactly how you pulled that off from fourth into second place. How did you pull that off?
I think we have an amazing speed during in the strong wind. We work a lot on that during the last winter because it was a weakness on the previous race. Very strong in light and medium condition, but very difficult for us in high speed. So probably we found some solution. We work hard for that. We have fantastic sailor on board, fantastic driver with a lot of experience of the high speed. And yes, it was unbelievable. We couldn't believe we were in one design. We were like 1 knot to 2 knots faster sometimes. So it's good because the next one will be a fast one.
Well, you did indeed hold the lead for the first 14 days of this leg, doing very well. And tactical maneuver there by MAPFRE took the lead from you. In retrospect, anything you would have done differently?
But of course, we did what I will call a beginner mistake. I think this is the first lesson I have about weather forecast and routing. Take care when you are going high pressure. Don't go too close. We were in a so strong position, and we did one of the most stupid mistake we can do. It's not MAPFRE who did a good move, it's us who did a really bad one. We just have to jibe, and we were far ahead, and I think we wanted to gain too much, and at the end we lost a lot.
It's an incredible journey this, and very tough on the body, on the mind. What state is your crew in? How are they feeling right now?
I think they can be proud because they never give up. They never complain even when I did this stupid mistake. I didn't feel. I was feeling very guilty on myself, but they didn't. I didn't see that in their eyes, and they just say, "Okay, let's work and come back," and we did it. I told them we have probably one opportunity to come back on the Vestas and Brunel. MAPFRE looks very difficult, but why not? So let's push as much as we can, and we did it. We played the game. We see we were faster than the other one. We get confident. At one point, we see the guy appears on the next screen. Oh, we are just 3-4 miles behind. Allez, let's go! And the night after, we were ahead. So it's amazing. And thank you to them because they did a fantastic job to come back.
Apart from talking about weather, one of the main things you've been talking about as well is food. I'm sure very happy to see your families. What are you thinking about eating right now?
I only think about that. I want to stop to speak to you. I want to pass the custom, everything. And my goal is to have a hamburger in my mouth in the next 30 minutes.
Vestas 11th hour racing. If you're fans of the team, you'll be pleased to see these onboard images right now. They are motoring along right now. They've certainly got breeze. It looks like a reef in the main.
Got a reef in the main, probably J2 there. And unlike Dongfeng race team, who had to take their way up to the finish line, they've got a straight shot all the way through. We can see the flash there, marking the edge of the harbour, and so they're almost into sheltered waters again after, well, by my count, with 19 days and 5 hours, 35 minutes or so of sailing in the rough and tumble North and indeed South Atlantic. Spectacular images there on the leg resume. You know, just remember, these guys have been sailing with a fire hose in their faces for about 2 weeks now. As you saw, it hasn't come easily. You know, this is a hard-fought third place. They've had sail damage. They've come back from problems. And what really impresses me about this team is they seem to always have a smile on their face.
Right, Charlie, congratulations. Welcome to Cape Town, taking third place on the podium. Congratulations with that. You did fight to keep in the lead and to stay in front of this game. A hard battle to stay and to take third place.
Yeah, I mean, we're happy certainly with a podium result against a lot of good teams. It was a tough battle all the way down here. Not satisfied with kind of how we're sailing the boat, so we got a lot of work to do, but we're making up for lost time, and yeah, just keep chipping away.
I feel like this fourth place is not really an accurate representation of the level that we're expecting from Brunel, and also what we've seen over the last couple of weeks when they've been sailing on the open sea.
And of course, I mean, it's a close finish, but we've expected it to be closer. I mean, this is one thing that's remarkable about the one design nature of the Volvo Ocean 65 with Team Brunel just about to come across the finish line. It is remarkably close out there, and actually, just a few days ago, they were almost on the heels of the boats in front. So for fans of Team Brunel, if you're a little bit disappointed that this boat is just falling short of a podium finish, there's every reason here to be optimistic. Bauer-Becking certainly has made a big improvement in the performance of this team from what we've seen in the past. And right now, as we were watching on the virtual eye, 11.8, 11.7 knots as they're coming across the finish line. We're expecting them to cross the finish line momentarily. In fact, they're so close that I can't quite zoom in tight enough on the tracker to measure their distance. But this is the best opportunity that we have from the virtual eye to see exactly where they are. The far end of the finish line. And that, to me, looks like they've come through the finish line. We are trying to bring you some pictures from out on the water, but right now it is pretty much pitch black. But once the team cross the finish line, they'll get themselves packed away and then make their sails into harbour. So now, celebrations on board Team Brunel as they come through the finish line. And we're just going to wait to hear from the sailors themselves. And it will be very interesting to see how someone like Bauer-Becking thinks about a very strong fourth place finish.
Being Cape Town, so you know what you can expect. The southeasterly investor is in, and it's always an exciting finish.
Moving from 6th to 4th place, definite improvement. A good strong start over there. In fact, you were hunting for 2nd place.
Yeah, no, we're going really nicely. I think we improved hugely over leg 1, and yeah, we missed out a little bit when the breeze was up. We were just not fast enough, but I think we figured out why, and so that gives us good hopes for the next leg.
Good mix of skills on the boat as well. Some very experienced sailors in this race, and some rookies as well, especially in such a long leg. How did they fare?
Well, you better ask them. I was really happy with them, so I think they did a nice job. Their learning curve has been, I think, humongous, and above all, they're all healthy and fit, and I think they really enjoyed it.
That is a very telling picture now from the chase boat. They're sailing nicely, the boat's up to power, and Simeon Tainpoint will be hoping that all the little tricks that Cape Town has been renowned for will be behind him.
It's going to be fascinating to see how this plays out.
Well, these are live images from on board Team Sun Hun Kai Scallywag, and well, one thing to pull out there is there are a lot of sailors looking around, trying to work out exactly what's going on. There's really only 2 things to keep half an eye on: your sails and the opposition. It's not over yet. I mean, it's looking pretty good for the Hong Kong team, but Turn the Tide on Plastic is definitely making them work it here. The breeze is up. We can see that they've had the code 0 hoisted earlier on. It's up, but it's furled. They've got the J1 up. We're expecting them to come a little bit more onto the breeze. In fact, there was some tacking earlier on from AzkoNobel as they come around the enormous wind bend round Table Mountain. Now a crew onto the clew of the sails, so working pretty hard to get the sail configuration, the sheets in all the right places.
Yeah, that may well be Ben Piggott, the 21-year-old bellman on board. I can tell you the last 7,000 miles, he's been getting a pasting at the front of that boat. If you look at how many maneuvers and how many sail changes they've had to go through, it's just incredible.
And now here we are, 20 days and 8 hours later, and Sun Hun Kai Scallywag is tacking to cover Turn the Tide on Plastic into the finish line.
There they go, the tack right there. This is classic, and I can't believe I'm saying this with the Volvo Ocean Race, but match racing tactics, not my co-presenter here, Niall Martin Best, he doesn't have a lot of hair on his head the best of times, and he is in the process of ripping it out at the moment as he's watching this screen with you. They're back on starboard, and it looks like they've just tacked right in front and almost on the same line as Turn the Tide on Plastic. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means that...
Ooh, so the outhaul. Sun Hun Kai Scallywag. Sun Hun Kai Scallywag's outhaul coming free on board the mainsail. Some problems for the Hong Kong team at the moment. It's not going to affect their speed too detrimentally, but this is a little bit of a hint at how quickly things can unravel. Sun Hun Kai Scallywag, 5.7 knots as they cross the finish line. It was a big scare from D. Kafari's Turn the Tide on Plastic. The race was compressed and brought down right to the bottom. And just look at the different approach here. This is what David Witt was mentioning here, the code 0.
That's right. He said the Mouj, or the masthead code 0. And frankly, that makes me really happy. It means that D. Kafari pulled out all the stops with her team, put out the big sail, put up the big gear, and did everything that they possibly could to grind them down.
Now is the time to get the World on Water TV channel on your TV set before Christmas. Email us now at info@boatson.tv.